Welcome to DWBIADDA channel. Please subscribe for latest training videos.
Hello to you all. Today we are going to talk about pop-up messages and progress dialogs. So for what do we use, let's say, progress dialogs? When we load some data from our database or from our memory, we cannot load it in a second. If we have so many users or so many data, we have some time to load it. So then we display our progress dialog, which says we are loading, we are collecting your data, wait for process to finish. We have different styles for progress dialogs and we can design it like we want, and I'll show you which variations of progress dialogs do we have. Now about pop-ups. Pop-ups we can use when we want to display some messages or when we want to have some place for user to type in some new data. So we can display pop-up message in which he can just type in the data and click submit, and then we are closing that progress dialog. So it's like a temporary activity that's actual in the moment. Let me show you where I use progress dialogs in our code. Let's go to the activity where we load our data from database. So that will be profile activity. So as you can see how profile activity looks, here it is. As you can see, we have picture, we have balance, and we have nickname. We need to load that data from database. For nickname and balance it's easy, but we need some time to load image, no matter how efficient is our algorithm, because image is larger than text. We're going to use progress dialog here to inform the user that we are loading his data. So let me show how I use my progress dialog. So of course we have defining the progress dialog here, as you can see. And now let's go and see how we initialize our progress dialog. We can initialize our progress dialog like this. We don't have to use the pattern that we used for every design object, because progress dialog is not design object. As you can see, we have name of our progress dialog, then new progress dialog, and then we have context. I can type profile activity.this, or we can use just this. It's not so important. Now we have to call our progress dialog, and we'll do it like progress dialog.show. And then we have some characteristics that we can adjust. As you can see, we have progress dialog.set cancelable, and we set it to false. We can set it to true, and that means if our progress dialog is loading, user cannot close it until it shows final message. Then we have our message that's loading, and then we can set the title and the progress style. You'll better understand if I show you the pictures of progress styles. We have progress dialog.style spinner or spile horizontal. So let me show you the images. Here is the explanation of progress dialog. That's the progress dialog. This is the style horizontal, as you can see here. That's the message, and then the title of the progress dialog. We can adjust this background color. This color is primary color for app. We can adjust that also, and that's it for progress dialog with style horizontal. Now let's go to the progress dialog with style spinner. As you can see, we don't have percentage here like in the previous one. We just have spinner loading. We have title and message here, and that would be it about progress dialog. As you can see, it's very simple to initialize it, but progress dialog is very useful, and we use it in many cases because we can trick our users and show them progress dialog, so they won't be mad about their time which we use to load our data. And now let me explain you pop-ups. I have two pop-ups here. We need to create object in layout for our pop-up, and we create like this. So right click on layout, then we have new, and then layout resource file, and then we can create our pop-up. So where do I use my pop-ups? I'll show you now. Let's go to this activity, and as you can see, we can choose this invested or plans, and then we can add something to one of these categories. If I choose invested and click this, pop-up will be shown to me. Here it is, and as you can see, we have some text views here. Type in your investment and type your investment funds, and we have some edit text to collect users data, and then we have confirmed to just submit that data and close our pop-up. So now let's go to the code in business activity so I can show you how we show our pop-up. That's just one function. You don't need to define pop-up elements here in this business activity. You'll now see how I define it. We have this function for showing pop-up. So before going into this part about defining everything, I want to show you dialog. And dialog, it's some kind of progress dialog is also dialog, but it's progress dialog, and dialog is a simple dialog which we use to display our pop-ups. So let's go here, and as you can see, we define and locate our dialog to this content view, where.layout.popup. Pop-up is from layout folder, and as you can see in layout we have that pop-up folder here. Now let's go to the initialization of design object. As you can see, we have button, that's this button, this button, and then we have its name, and then the same pattern as for every design object. Instead of this, we need to type dialog dot and then find view by ID, and then ID of object that we are wanting to initialize. So we need to type dialog so our device know where he can find this object, because if we say just find view by ID, he'll search in this layout, not in this layout. So be careful with that. If you make this mistake and remove this, you'll be chasing an error. Now we have some edit text. You don't need to worry about this final, just pay attention to this part. Also, like with the button, we have edit text, then its name, and then dialog.find edit text. It's same for all of these. As you can see, very simple. Just dialog is something that's different from initializing design objects for activities. Then I have some functions here, as you can see, but they're not so important for pop-ups. Then we have dialog.show. Like progress dialog, we need to show everything that we defined, the dialog.show, and we can set cancelable to false. So user can click somewhere out from the pop-up and just close it. We need to say dialog.set cancelable to false. Also, as you can see here, we have so many options here, and you can search on the internet how to use these functions. They can be very useful, but I want some simple pop-up, so I don't want to make it more complex. Then we have on button click, it's like for the casual button, and then we have something like this, and then inside my pop-up I show another pop-up. I'll show you it later. And then we have dialog.dismiss, and that means that we are closing our dialog after some activities, as you can see. And now let me show you. Show pop-up limit. Show pop-up plans is the same like this one. And now show pop-up limit, the same procedure. as you can see, we have dialog.setContent and dialog.show. They will initialize our buttons, and if something is complete, we dismiss it as here also. And that's it about dialogs. Let's just review this pop-up limit. As you can see, I have also this text view and then 2 buttons. I recommend you to use them because it looks nice when you use different types of design objects in your app. If you for a little bit of data that needs to be entered, use another activity, that will slow down your app and your user will have to wait more, and this is more practical. You just click, then fill out data and close it, and that's all. You don't need to go to the other activity and then get back and lose your time. And I think that pop-ups can look prettier than activities. They're compact, and you can say almost everything like in activity. That would be it about this tutorial. I recommend you again to use both pop-ups and progress dialog every time when you can, when you recognize the situation, to use them, because they're very useful and people do not know how much the pop-ups and progress dialogs are important. And if your clients see that you're using pop-ups and progress dialogs to avoid some situations, they will give you a plus, and you'll be better than your concurrence. Again, that's it. I hope that you understood everything well, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Until then, bye.